I was so shy and so worried about what other people thought about me when I was a kid that I just didn't want to talk to anybody. And I only stuck around my little circle of friends and marching band, and that was basically it. I had no guts, had no courage, and that was with, friendships to, girlfriends. I didn't have my first girlfriend until like junior year of college because I was just that kind of, I never raised my hand in class. I just did not like, and I'm an introvert by nature, but introverts can still be very successful by reaching out and building relationships with other people, right? Every time I try something new, I typically start by validating that idea first. Mm-hmm. And when you go and enter the world of idea validation, you have to realize that you're opening up yourself and you're being vulnerable to the possibility of somebody saying, no, I don't like that thing. And in the beginning, when I would try new things and kind of just share what I was up to with friends or potential customers or things like that, whenever I got a rejection or a no or I don't really like that, I really took it personal. And I was like, oh, I must be a failure. I must not know what I'm doing. Later on, I realized that starting early and validating, hoping to have somebody say no is the best thing that could ever happen, because as soon as that happens, you're able to then, adjust and pivot and then realize, that person said no for this. Well, what would make them say yes? How can I get to that point? Because a no is not a no forever. A no is, as you've likely taught before, a not yet. Or we're not quite at that stage at which I'm able to transact with you now, but maybe in the future. And so using validation strategies to talk to people, to have conversations, to see where they're at with something, they're going to say they don't like something about it. And that's totally okay. You want that so you know how to pivot and shift into something that they would absolutely want to work with you on. Try to find that failure point faster. Fail fast is often a strategy that I talk about. And that's so that you can find those answers sooner. Every time I've tried to make money first, and that was the primary motive before serving an audience or serving my customers, all of those projects have ended up failing. I always had this thing in my head like, I don't want to tell anybody about my ideas until they're done, because what if somebody tries to steal it? And, those kinds of thoughts, which, that there's a possibility. But you know what? If you are a person who's trying to build a business, you are doing yourself and your audience a disservice by not talking about it first with other people. And yes, maybe there's a slight chance somebody might take that idea. But even if they did, they're not going to work hard as you are to get that thing done. And also the pros far outweigh the cons of talking to people about your idea, because you're going to have people poke holes in it. You're going to have people offer new suggestions. You're going to have people help you understand, what are the necessary things that are required? And you're able to then understand, I don't need these features yet for this first, what's called an MVP launch or a minimum viable product launch. I can just have exactly what they need and that's it. And I can work with those customers to then build out the features that they want, not just what I think they want. And I came to a realization that I needed to sell. It was a service to sell. It's not bad to sell if you know that what you are selling can truly help people. And I think it's all these negative experiences that we've all had with selling in the past that influence how we sell or not sell to our own audience. Action and accountability, those are two A words that are just so necessary with finding success. And what's great about storytelling is if you tell a great story, the sell almost just happens naturally at the conclusion of that story if it relates to it, where you don't even have to be aggressive anymore. It just makes complete sense when you tell the story about a pain that people can relate to and the solution and what you're now offering. It all just makes complete sense, and you're able to build that relationship over time in a very short time period, actually, and then get to that sale. I don't have an MBA. I don't have a master's in engineering or none of that stuff. But I have results as a result of the action that I've already taken. And you shouldn't be afraid to share your results. And you shouldn't be afraid to share the results of those who you've helped too. So we take the long way around because we don't want to even worry about getting that pressure, right? But I think if you take the pressure off of your audience and you just make it about them and not about the sale or not about the money, but more their results, then it just happens naturally. If you say yes to everything, you're eventually going to get burned out and overwhelmed. And the other part of that is when you say yes to something, you're actually saying no to something else. And so when you say yes to something like that, what are you actually saying no to? Saying no has been very empowering, actually. It's been able to help me realize that what I do say yes to deserves my full attention and my effort. And what I say no to doesn't necessarily even have to be a no forever either, but also it doesn't have to be the worst thing in the world. If I could go back in the time, I would say, Pat, you need to build relationships with as many people as possible, because is those relationships that are going to help change your life in one way, shape, or form. And you have no idea. It might be the next person that you meet that could change everything.